Welcome back to the World Championship Series Europe Premier League, round of 16. Group C today, Group D tomorrow. If you weren't with us last week, you missed two fantastic groups in Group A and B. You can pop over to YouTube and collect the VODs if you wish to catch up with all of the action from last week. Today's group is Group C. Game one down. Colaris.
Hi.
That was highly entertaining, I think, between it. You're right there.
I'm okay. I'm okay.
Highly entertaining. Best of three between the three of them. I'm not known for liking Storm host matches. I think that would be fair to say. But a couple of those were actually quite interesting in the way that the dynamics flowed, especially map 1 and 2, because you didn't quite know which way it was going to go for a while.
Yeah, and again, without some of the cool moves from Wellmu to actually prolong that, I think that it could have ended, you know, that it could have been in a bit more of a disastrous position. So they matched up very nicely against one another, considering the style. And obviously Wellmu's had a lot of, I mean, every Protoss has had a lot of experience against the Swarm host style, and it's very interesting to see and watch how people actually deal with it once they're presented with it.
I think, I could be wrong, but every Zerg that plays him plays Swarm hosts against him. At least they have done in the last few months. And honestly, I think they're onto something. They're like, he doesn't know how to play against it. But in map 2, he kind of showed he can play against Swarm hosts, albeit with a little bit of luck thrown in there, I guess, as well.
Yeah, there were twists and turns. Of course, there was twists and turns. But overall, I was surprised that it wasn't as more of an aggressive stance out of Wellmu. He was more than happy to actually transition on. We saw the movement from game number 1 to 2 and 3, where he was just kind of poking out a little bit, trying to find areas of aggression, but in the end, always falling back to a superior probe count to that of game number 1.
Yeah, game 1 he went air toss as well, so it was you know, total change up from what he was doing, but didn't see any of that in game 2 and 3 really. Just do you think he got fed up with having stuff nicked all the time by the Vipers in game 1? Because I don't know how you feel about it, but looking at it, you're just thinking, wow, he's just getting everything abducted. He even lost that mothership as well for nothing. I mean, I don't think it did a single piece of damage. No,
not too much. And its utility wasn't met either, which is the most important thing about that mothership when it comes to that. So good overall, good series by Golden, good crisis management and good ability to just make sure he can hold down in the middle.
He's a lovely guy as well to boot. He's always comes across great in the interview, so it's always nice to interview him. We're going to move on to our second game now. Let's show you the bracket and show you exactly where we are right now. We've had just the one game, so if you have missed it, don't worry too much. We're still early on in the evening here in Cologne. MaNa versus MMA is our next matchup. The winner will play Golden. The loser drops down to play Wellmu. Of course, win 2 and you are through GSL-style brackets, of course, in all of our group stages in round of 16 and round of 32. Next game, MaNa versus MMA. MaNa, he's, I don't know, he kind of frustrates me because you know how good he is.
Yeah.
You've watched him play and you think, God, blimey, he's got everything a player could want. He's won Premier titles in the past, albeit it's been a while. And he seems to have all the equipment. And yet somehow he gets to this stage almost every time. In fact, he's never been past round of 16. And he falls. Why? What do you think it is about his style, his gameplay? What is it?
Tough groups.
He definitely has had a few of those this time, that's for sure.
Yeah. The round of 32 this season, actually, for MaNa as well, was kind of shaky. Weren't going through in second place, but of course he had 4GG in that group, and 4GG is looking pretty on point so far this season.
He took a map off him, though, in that group stage, and then beat Bling and Bly.
In a very unorthodox series. Between 4GG and MaNa, and it could have actually gone MaNa's way, all things considered. But I think this one's going to be difficult for him.
Yeah, and this time last season, of course, he played Golden for the place in the quarterfinals. It was the last game of the group, and he lost that one 2-1. So he's got Golden in the same group again. He's not going to be looking forward to that, is he?
No, not too much. I can imagine that he's probably, well, if he was wanting to go into a winner's match, he would like maybe the PvP, but even the PvP is quite volatile, and considering that Wellmu is good in the matchup as well. So either way you break this group down, it's going to be difficult, I think, for MaNa.
One of the things he's got going against him against MMA is that his PvT is probably his best matchup right now. So whilst others are struggling, other Protoss are struggling against Terrans recently, he seems okay with it.
He kind of... If you take 4GG, the series against 4GG as the example, again, it was a little bit weird, a little bit quirky as a series, but there was things that forced it into that position. I think actually if MaNa did a similar thing in this series and kind of force it into those odd spots, maybe it could have been the best way to advance on, because MMA is a bit of a killer.
Yeah, no, he absolutely is. We're going to move on to him right now, and fresh off a DreamHack victory, which you know, when you list his Premier titles right now, he's got 7 of them. He's got an Intel Extreme Masters, he's got an MLG, he's got a DreamHack, so that's the Triple Crown, he's got all 3 of those. He's got an Iron Squid, he's got a GSL, a WCS, and a BlizzCon trophy. I mean...
It's quite a mouthful.
It is. It's quite hard to remember it all as well. He's won so many, but it's unusual, isn't it? Because most players we see sort of dominate one area or, you know, pick up like a lot of championships in one particular thing. He's never done that, but he's got almost a full house there.
Yeah, and most importantly, I mean, off the back of all of those results going on today, it's all, for him, it's all about BlizzCon, right? So he is going to be extremely, extremely hungry when it comes to this group and the oncoming WCS.
Yeah, I mean, we spoke a little bit in the pre-show with Sean. He's 17th right now. He's 16th if you add in the points he will automatically get from this group stage if he finishes last. Yeah. But he doesn't want to finish last. He doesn't want to finish second either. He wants to win this group, go on through the group, get into the round of 8 and get as many points as he can from WCS Europe to ensure that when he goes to DreamHack, he doesn't have to perform specifically to a set target. I mean, right now, he has to get to the final if he goes out here, so that would be massive for him.
And overall, if you look at how MMA went through his round of 32 group, I would argue that he was in the hardest round of 32 group of all of them. He went through Yoda first.
Yeah.
The 2 TSM fellows, TCM fellows. I can't believe I just did that. Sorry, Jarrett Kale.
Yeah.
But
I was going to throw you in with Jarrett at that point as well.
No. I corrected myself very quickly, so I'm okay.
If you're listening, TSM, we wouldn't mind if you want to put a StarCraft player or a StarCraft team together. That's absolutely fine. We won't complain about that.
They tweeted at Don Regu, so that'd be kind of cool.
Well, yeah, maybe.
Anyway, so the thing is about that result is that MMA showed really, really good games against First, of all people, who was, for a very, very long time, PVT specialist. He was the man. But since this fell off. So it's going to be interesting to see how these two are going to be stacking up, because they can have 2 very, very different kind of styles actually clashing against one another.
Nothing majorly surprising. Catalina, Deadwing, Nimbus gone out of that lot. What do you expect? Foxtrot probably go as well?
Foxtrot? Yeah, it could do. I think, you know, having things like merry-go-round open for... There is technical, like, volatility there sometimes. That could play in MaNa's favor, but, I mean, we'll see what he wants to go for.
It's MMA to remove, so... Yeah. I'm guessing Foxtrot.
Yeah.
Okay, so Foxtrot does go. So we got a fairly standard map, 3-round here, Overgrowth, merry-go-round, King, Sejong. These two do have a little bit of history between them. They've actually played 15 maps between them over the years, but the majority of those were back in Wings of Liberty, where MMA actually fell down against MaNa quite often. So MaNa had the upper hand, but since it's Heart of the Swarm, it's been the other way round, and already twice this year, MaNa's gone down to MMA. So everything points towards the Korean in this matchup. Is there any small hope that you can give the poll?
Again, I think if you can throw the balance off...
I thought you were going to say it. No.
No, I'm not going to be mean. I'm not going to be mean, because if I do, I know MaNa will get me later on. And he won't give me any more sweets, which is bad as well. But I think if he throws the balance off, if he throws a little bit of chaos in there and kind of keeps MMA guessing, that's going to be his best bet. Because MMA, no doubt in my mind, absolutely no doubt, he's come so prepared, but he's also going to be scouting out the attempts at chaos as well. So MaNa's chaos is going to have to be very chaotic. He's
very much the underdog in this group, but he's capable, and he's shown us in previous seasons that he can win these kind of tough games and he can come through. But just what does he need to do in these matchups now? I mean, in terms of mentality and approach and what have you.
Sorry, are you on about MaNa here? Or?
Yeah, MaNa.
Yeah, I still think it's the chaos. Again, with how he performed against 4GG, there was the option and the true ability for him to have taken those series. It was kind of close, kind of down to the wire. But MMA, he's just going to play solid. It's going to be really difficult to break him.
Okay, thank you very much, James. We'll hear from James a little bit later on, of course, and we've got more matches on the way to test his throat later on as well, so we'll see him back in the commentary box. For now, though, it's time for game number 2 of Group C, MMA versus MaNa. Don't forget, social media-wise, keep interacting with the official channels at StarCraft on Twitter and /StarCraft on Facebook.com, and include, as I haven't been doing, naughty me, the hashtag #WCS if you tweet about any of the matches or the players. Let's go over to the commentary booth for game number 2 with Apollo and Hasselhobbs.
Thank you very much, Redeye and Kolaris, and I'm very excited for this next matchup that we have. MMA versus MaNa, a game that's been played multiple times over the years. I think you remember back to GSL Code S, it was played there. Yeah. It was also played in the very first season of the Premier League in WCS as well. And of course, they've traded many a blows and strikes to each other in the ATC, where Team Liquid fights very often against Team Acer. But they fight again once here to see who will go to the winners match. I know we talked about it just a little bit now. Give us your overall thoughts of the map pool, the map selection, these two players going head to head. I know you do favor one player over the other.
Yeah, I think MMA is the very big favorite in this game. He just came off from the DreamHack win. Yeah. He has incredibly good PVT. He's very solid. Like on the table they were mentioning 4GG against MaNa. I'd say it's a little bit easier to play against 4GG. He's a very good player as well. Yep. But if you compare him to MMA, MMA is way more scarier. He has more build orders. He also a bit more to his opponents, I feel. And he looks, I think he said he's well prepared, and
he's very confident feeling today. You can just, I mean, the way that he's acting around people, we know when he's nervous. He looks like this all the time when he's a little bit worried about who he's going to play up against. But throughout the studio today, he's been waving, he's been smiling, he's been having a good old joke with everyone around.
Very relaxed.
Very, very relaxed, and especially probably coming off that DreamHack wins helped a lot coming into this today. But MaNa, talk to us about MaNa. You've mentioned the key strengths really of MMA. What about MaNa? What makes him so good? Because over the years, he actually has had a very good Protoss versus Terran.
Definitely. I think it's always has been his best matchup as far as I know. And he always says it comes down to the skill. Like, if he plays very well, he says he can beat any Terran. Maybe not any, but he has a very good shot of beating very good Korean Terrans as well. And I think he is actually going to play very straight up on the first map, and if he feels this goes completely wrong, he might have a pocket strategy. He's going for the second map. Do we have Marigo as second map?
Yes, it's the second, yes.
That would fit very well if they want to go for something like this, or if MaNa wants to go for something like this.
Yeah.
Because King Sejong, you can play straight up, but you can be cheesy with Blink Stalkers as there's a lot of room to jump in.
Do you think the recent development of Protoss versus Terran, the parting style where you go for the Blink Stalkers early to the fast third, has that had an influence on MaNa's playstyle recently, do you think?
I guess so, yeah. MaNa said that he practiced very specific for this group. He said he didn't have the most amount of games, but it was very good practice, is what he told me. So I think he definitely had some build orders he was looking to and tried to maybe to copy them or make it work for him.
Yeah.
And I'm really looking forward to what he will show tonight.
Well, here we are, game number 1 for these two players of the evening here in the World Championship Series Premier League. Within Group C, here we go, up here to the top left-hand side, playing for Team Acer, the green man from Team Acer. It's MMA. And this is a very important day for this man. You know, forget about the DreamHack win. You want to go to BlizzCon, you have to advance from today's group here. Very, very important day. But down here in the bottom right-hand side, playing for Team Liquid is the blue Protoss player. It's MaNa.
The BlizzCon is a very good point. There's still a lot of pressure on MMA. Even though he just won a tournament, it's nothing you can relax on. It's even though he's smiling a lot, he's happy. I mean, obviously he won a tournament, but he still has to perform very well here. He needs the round of 8. I think then he's almost secure.
He's almost secure. Yeah. He'd need at least to get some WCS points from him just to make sure he's safe.
Yeah. So it is a very important group for him as well.
It's a little bit sad that MMA's year hasn't been quite as successful as it was previously. He fell short in the round of 32 in Season 2 this year. And didn't really perform at the DreamHacks he traveled to either. And that kind of put him in the position he's in today where he needs the points. But good recovery at DreamHack Moscow to be able to get those points back in the bag. And maybe we'll see if he continues that on tier today.
Yeah, that's true. He has been at one of the IEMs, right? And dropped out
quite early. He played in Shenzhen and lost in the group stage. He won the qualifier for that. Got first place in the qualifier.
Yeah, so quite up and down. But just like the last weeks, he looks very strong again.
And he did tweet out that motivational tweet. I don't know if you saw that or not, saying that this is just the start of the rest of my year.
Yeah, I saw that.
Of course, he really wants to go. The #1 goal in MMA for MMA is BlizzCon, absolutely. And he's going to be, well, would be very upset if he didn't make it.
And he's going for an SCV scout followed by a Reaper scout. So he wants to find out exactly what MaNa is going to do here on King Sejong Station. While MaNa, I think I expect him to go straight up on the first map, and then maybe if it doesn't work, he will change it up on the second and third map. So I would see, or I would think he's going up with a very quick Nexus. Will probably cancel the Zealot. And yeah, he actually
snuck the probe out.
Yeah. Nice movement there. And
is he going to get it down, though? It's going to be quite close.
Yeah, there we go. He cancelled one of his probes to make sure.
Oh, the 150 mineral bank of a Zealot and a probe there.
Yeah. Gets the Mothership core behind it, obviously. The Reaper's on the way.
And MMA, he's playing with gas here as well. He's still with 3.
Still mining, yeah.
Yeah, factory play more than likely here. So, yeah, we'll see how MaNa can deal with that. MMA's had quite a lot of success with that play in recent times.
Do you think we will see Hellions because he's getting the reactor, or is it just like Marine, Widow Mine, Medivac?
It really can be any, is the correct answer. It can be both.
Oh, look at this. He's proxying the factory.
Ooh, MMA.
Hey, I think he did that against me as well when we were playing in the round of 8. That's a pretty long time ago, though, but he's been known for proxy factory builds as well against Protoss.
Not recently, though.
Not recently.
Not recently, but he has done it in the past. And because of the recent trends of how this matchup play, and recently MMA hasn't done it, this is probably going to be a surprise here for MaNa.
Definitely.
So this will be Widow Mines then, right? You'd imagine?
Yeah, I would. So, maybe even the proxy starport behind this.
Yeah. Drop the Widow Mine straight in from that position.
I could see him doing that.
Yeah.
MaNa is getting a Twilight Council, so his detection, if he wants to go for detection at all, will be very delayed. And there's the starport proxied as well, so as you mentioned, he's going to fly in with a Widow Mine straight away.
Yeah, this, I mean, depending on if we see the robotics facility kind of fast in this game, is going to mean a massive difference between obviously not having it here. He's got no detection at all. He does not know what he's playing against.
Yeah, it's so hard. I mean, MaNa didn't scout at all, and you usually don't scout against, or like for proxy locations. If it's not 11-11, then it's so rarely that the Terran is actually proxying something.
He's sending up a probe here to the top right. I'm imagining that's just for a potential pylon here, but he's actually squeezed in the robotics facility before additional gateways. That is very helpful here. Imagine if he got a 2nd or 3rd gateway or so.
Yeah, that would be...
We would have seen that SCV there. And if he was controlling the Xel'Naga tower, but he moved out of it.
Can he kill the the Reaper before it spots the Robo? I think it didn't really work out for him. No, he saw the Robo. So MMA knows that it might be hard to get damage done with a drop, but he's getting a 3rd Widow Mine. How do you say it? Like, it doesn't really matter. Yeah, exactly.
But it's funny here because imagine if MaNa's reaction's on point here.
Yeah. Doesn't
see the Medivac come into his minimap range, isn't reacting fast, he's going to lose probes. He's got to be very careful here. And he's just outside the vision range here of that robotics facility. He's going to boost in at the last possible moment. Is MaNa going to react in time? And he will pull the probes just about. One probe sacrifices his life.
Good control there by MaNa, pulling all his probes and getting a little bit lucky with the probe going back into the gas. So only losing a single probe. The Observer is being chrono boosted out. He had to use Photon Overcharge. And the 3rd Widow Mine is actually walking towards the natural. So will MaNa pay attention once more?
That is such a simple move if this works. Here we go. Hop, skip, and jump to the mineral line. And MaNa does pull off. We'll lose a single probe there. So very good defense there from MaNa.
You have to give him credit for that. And good pick off there by MMA. Saves the Widow Mine. Gets away.
In a very typical MMA fashion there.
And now we have Blink. And that's exactly what you mentioned. This somewhat aggressive build order with like 3 gateways, Blink. But you still get a lot of economy behind it. So, and we were talking about this before the game. If you defend the Widow Mine drop... Okay, gets the Widow Mine. Can he get the Medivac? Doesn't seem like it.
Blink is almost done here. Just a few seconds. But yeah, as you were saying...
If you defend the Widow Mine drop and you have Blink Stalkers ready, it can be deadly for the Terran because their Stimpak is so late, and he actually got the Medivac on top of the map.
Yeah, and he's taking a bit of damage on those 2 Stalkers, but yeah, did grab the Medivac here. There is an Observer with this, so inside the main base is definitely vulnerable for the time being. There are double Tech Labs there, and MaNa's going to swing around, and MMA is not in position currently. He's actually moving to the ramp. He's got 2 Marauders, and MaNa blinks forward, and the Tech Lab does have Stim on it. It has Stim, and it is cancelled. A massive pickup there for MaNa, and he is going to start to blink down, and it's a very good start to this harassment. Blink down. It's gone.
Yeah, he's going to warp in 3 more Stalkers. Keep in mind, it's only 3 gateways, so he can't really commit fully to it. But he will keep pressuring the Terran because he, as you mentioned, I mean, he doesn't know it was Stimpak. But whatever upgrade you cancelled, it always feels very good for you.
He's going to have a look at the front door now. Just a bit of damage here and blink backwards once again. And he is going to pick off a bunker here and a Marine. Nicely done there by MaNa once again. And he's got the robotics bay now finishing up. Thermal Lance starting, 3 extra gateways. There is a funky Widow Mine on the other side of the map, just kind of
He keeps building them as well. On the right side, there's one more close to the factory, so...
Oh god, Stim again! A second time, Stim gets denied here.
Definitely a small mistake by MMA not to have his units in position. I mean, obviously... second Stalker by... obviously, he doesn't have a second bunker, so... He has to be very careful how he splits his army. He gets the Observer. Brilliant scan there, so...
But unfortunately, he's, I mean, sure his medivac's right, but imagine if he had Stim right now, he'd be looking in quite a powerful position, but without Stim, he just can't really fight into 6 gateways. First Colossus is out, so there's not going to be any forward Stims at all towards potentially picking off that Colossus, and MaNa's going to get this third Nexus down at a very good time here in comparison to what MMA's is.
Okay, so let's make a bet. Will the Widow Mine connect on the Stalkers when they are running back?
Yes.
Yes, I think so too. It looks very funny. Oh no, and painful as well for MaNa if he walks into the trap.
If he actually doesn't take damage here. He's still going to stay out in the open.
He wants to chase down a few more Marines, scattering around the map, just for scouting purposes, obviously. The factory is flying back. As I said, there's another Widow Mine being built, so maybe he will load it into the Medivacs as well. And the Stalkers are getting close to the Widow Mine, and boom. Yeah, one Stalker dies.
Do you think the lack of forges is going to impact MaNa's mid-game here?
Well, he will have a very big army, so whatever MMA throws at him should be defendable. But I'd say in the later stages of the mid-game, if the Terran has 1-1 or maybe 2-1, and you are lacking your second armor upgrade, I think you can definitely feel the difference. And MaNa didn't see the army, right?
He's got an Observer, he should do. He should do.
All his Stalkers were in the main base, so, but just now he regrouped.
So this is going to be a little bit difficult. Still, Stim still not done here. Good force fields to start this off. 2 Widow Mines get all the sentries! All the sentries gone. There's like 4 sentries there.
That was painful. And MMA once again with a hot pickup. The units that were being force fielded in were picked up.
Was that manual control there from MMA to target down the sentries? Because there was 2 or 3 Zealots at the front.
No, one of the sentries was actually very far forward. And if one of them dies, the splash will actually kill the others. Nice concave there by MMA. He's going for the attack. He has a lot of medivacs, so he can pick up if he wants to.
Oh, there's some units from the left-hand side here, and the first Colossus is gonna get picked. No, yes, it does get picked off there. And then we do see a blink backwards from MaNa, and that was a very nice fight there from MMA in combination with the 3 sentry kills earlier, and even the last Colossus at the back.
Oh my God, this is so painful.
Oh, from looking in pretty good shape before those sentries died. That was definitely a U-turn here for MaNa.
And this is without forges, so he had a rather big army supply. He's trying to go for a counterattack with 4 Zealots at the 3rd base of the Terran. There's no bunker, but it's slow Zealots. The SUVs will just run away. He might be able to pick off a few of them, but with a good reaction of MMA, he shouldn't be too much,
Oh dear, MaNa's got a lockdown tight now, but this opens up a large amount of possibilities here for MMA, whether it be this, a random SCV pool that comes into this to capitalize on his advantage, whether he just plays out a normal game here. He has 2-2 on the way before the Forge is even complete. And the Colossus count got reset there as well.
Yeah.
So, not so good.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. 1-1 is on the way, as you mentioned, 2-2 for MMA. So MaNa has to chrono boost, so he doesn't get too far behind. He obviously is already. He's getting charged. The probe, I believe, will drop the Templar archives very soon once he has the gas for it. Because MaNa is usually the guy who gets like 3, maybe 4 Colossus and then switches into High Templars. And there we do see the Templar archives going up.
Well, MMA is going to move forward now. He's got a supply advantage in army and workers currently. And he's going to move down into the center of the map here. Maybe look for an opportunity to take a fight. Doesn't really have a large Viking count, so it's not exactly going to be very easy for him to take a fight here. Maybe if he drops towards the natural, well, it is well defended there by MaNa. 2 cannons and a couple of Zealots. Observer is tracking this army.
Good scan once again.
No longer, though.
Yeah. And he's getting a second starboard behind this, so he wants to deal a little bit of damage. I mean, if he can kill the Protoss, that's fine, obviously. But if not, he will have the backup plan, 4 Vikings at a time.
God, I don't think MaNa's actually believe in MMA here. Well, I mean, we all saw the medivacs get picked up here. He blinks into the main base.
Yeah.
He's got to be very careful. There's 5 medivacs full of units here, 4 medivacs full of units. The Stalkers, they blink down! And MaNa, who did see this load up, doesn't think that MMA would go for it because it was soaring. He's going to drop inside the main base, and the Forges are exposed here, the Templar Archives are exposed, the Nexus is exposed, the Stalkers get back in here. But then you've got the main army on the third base as well.
Yeah, the Stalkers have no chance to fight against the Stim Marines.
+1 armor cancelled there.
Yeah.
And no Stalkers protecting his Colossus on the left-hand side. 4 get warped in. But a beautiful drop there from MMA, capitalizing on his position. Kills another Colossus. Yeah. And this is a game-winning drop.
And probably killing the last Colossus as well. The Marauders focusing on it. It barely dies. And both Forges died, and the Temple Archives and the Nexus.
And the Twilight Council probably here as well. What a beautiful drop there by MMA. MaNa blind on his right-hand side. No Observer, no Pylon, no Probe, no Zealot, no nothing. And Gamble not having all his units in the right positions here. And now he's paying the price.
Yeah, even though MMA is losing every single unit with his Medivacs, he had such a good macro behind this. 160 supply again. He actually didn't build any Vikings with this. I believe he just used the second starport to produce Medivacs because he knew he's going to lose a lot.
Yeah.
3-3 on the way. The 4 CC, just flawless macro behind this. Ghost Academy is up as well, just in case if there are High Templars.
And there's a scan in the center, no Observer. Scan sees barely an army here. Yeah. And we are going to see MMA walk down here and probably pick up map number 1 here. He's got fantastic upgrades. There's very little units, if any, for MaNa. There's 0 splash damage here. And MMA is going to go in and going to take this quite convincingly here. And MMA is going to open up his first game, his first series of the day with a victory. And Immortal gets picked off immediately. And MaNa, who started well, makes a couple of mistakes. And MMA capitalizes and jumps to the lead.
Yeah, he punished him so hard for not being in position with his Observer like 2 times. Like the first time was when the Widow Mines actually killed all the sentries. Then MaNa chased and paid with 2 Colossus for a handful of bio. And then the second time when there was no Observer on the right time, I mean, MMA scanned them, so he was killing Division. Then there was like 5 Medivacs flying in, getting every tech structure, getting the Nexus, cleaning up most of the Stalkers as well, so...
I mean, let's talk about the move that pretty much won the game there, which was that big drop, more so than... I mean, of course, MMA gained an advantage, but that one just finished MaNa off.
Yeah.
When you see a Protoss or a Terran army as a Protoss load up into Medivacs, then the Observer goes down, are you expecting that drop to still happen? Do you think he's just going to say, okay, no, I'm going to put everything down and then go for a frontal attack? Obviously, we can highlight the lack of Observers and vision to assist the decision, but what would you do if you're in that position?
I would say, if you don't lose your sentries and the 2 Colossus before, you definitely have to make the call, okay, if he drops, I have my Stalker in place and I have enough army at my 3rd. If the Terran is split up, I can defend both. But given the position MaNa was in, having a rather small army, just like 12 Stalkers, 2 Colossus, a few Zealots and sentries, he had to make the call. Do I defend my 3rd, or taking the risk getting dropped? Or like, if I have my Stalkers at the drop, I will lose my 3rd for sure. And the way he split it up this time, he actually lost on both fronts. He lost all Colossus at the 3rd and everything in the main because the Stalkers were too late. It's just a very, very hard decision. But I guess having the Stalkers in the main would have been better.
In this case. But then if he'd lost his 3rd, we could have said he should have had his Stalkers on the 3rd.
Yeah, that's true. It's a very, very hard decision to make. And it comes all down to losing the 2 Colossus and the 3 sentries before because it just... you lacked the firepower.
There, All right, game number 2. Merry-go-round, MMA's map choice. And the 3 maps that were selected down here in the bottom left is the red Terran player playing for Team Acer. It's MMA. Of course, a 7-time StarCraft 2 champion. Won his first event back in 2011, an MLG, and then followed that up by the GSL win at BlizzCon. And up here to the top right-hand side is the blue Protoss player playing for Team Liquid. It's MaNa, who in his career has played in 5 finals. One in 2010 was the DreamHack Winter Finals against Nama.
And he lost 2-3, I believe.
He did lose, yes. Lost 2-3 in the finals there. He played in 2 finals in 2011 without a victory. 2nd place twice, again, 3 seconds. And then 2012 was MaNa's year where he picked up DreamHack Summer 2012 and also ESWC shortly after as well. 2013 was a quiet year for the pole. Didn't adapt super well into Heart of the Swarm immediately. But he started to get back on track now. He's had 5 top 16s in the 2014 year. And looking for his first top 8 potentially.
It's going to be rough though. If he wants to switch up his play a little bit, I think Marigo is a very good map for that. Given it's a tricky map overall. It's very hard to take a 3rd as a Protoss. You have some possibilities to jump in with Blink Stalkers. It's a 3-player map, so maybe the Terran scouts you last, so you can hide some stuff. It's definitely a map where you can switch up stuff. And just recently, when I was watching MC, like he loves to do proxy Stargate on this map as well. There are definitely lots of possibilities for MaNa if he wants to switch it up. But maybe he thinks, without mistakes, I would have been in a decent game.
Just a quick question that's off topic a little bit here. When you see a player, let's say MaNa, for example, coming into this tournament ranked top 10 in Grandmaster, is that an indication of his form in recent times?
Well, obviously you have to play a lot to be top 10 in GM, because it's pretty hard to stay on the top in the GM. You need a decent amount of games. I wouldn't really say he's in, because of that he's in very good shape, but at least
just
he
plays.
plays.
He's playing a lot right now.
He's playing a lot. That's at least what you can take out of that. But yeah, when I was talking to him, I think I already mentioned it, he said he had some very strict practice given for his group today, knowing the players, knowing the matchup, knowing the maps. And overall, he said he wasn't playing too much, but he feels good. So let's see what he has on Marigo here.
Yeah.
MMA, by the way, is getting a Reaper, and this time not proxying any factory or something.
No trickery
like
this time, no. Unfortunately, by the looks of the probe in the middle of the map here, he's going to miss the barrack scout just by a little bit here. The Marines should pop out in time to deny this.
Yeah, let's see if MMA pays attention, though.
Yeah.
Maybe just release them. But it's MMA, so I guess he will...
It's going to be close.
Be able to kill the probe before. Nope.
No, so he gets in there, just very, very, very closely there. But MMA, the two major times these two have played in the big tournaments was, of course, GSL way back when, where MMA won 2-0, and he also won 2-0 against MaNa in the first WCS season, 2013. So he's got the two big wins against MaNa. Looking at a potential third here, with one game up. But Twilight Council again here, Hazrobs.
I guess MaNa realized that he was able to do some damage with that, but it came all down to the failed Widow Mine attack. So I hope he doesn't misread the situation and tries to do exactly the same build, because I believe if MMA has either Combat Shield or Stimpack at a certain point of the game, like not too late as it was on last game, then he will be able to punish MaNa.
Yeah. It's funny to think that, isn't it? Without Stim for so long in that game, he was still able to do what he did. Combat Shield's first upgrade coming out from MMA here. He's going to move out with his first set of units, but it is one gateway, Twilight for Blink, then Robo. Obviously, the extra gateways would have been more useful in this particular scenario. Is MaNa going to be okay here? Is he going to take a lot of probe damage? Are we going to see MMA Stim, or not Stim, but move into the mineral lines?
I think Photon Overcharge, and then you have to pull your probes if the Terran commits. If he doesn't commit, you use Photon Overcharge. I mean, you don't really want to use it, but you have to in this case, I believe.
Yeah.
And Combat Shield won't be ready. Either it's a little bit mistimed, or it's just not planned for this attack. I believe it's just not planned because it comes so early.
It's planned for the second one, apparently, yeah.
Definitely for the second attack. Does he get the Stalker? Yes. Good focus fire there by MMA.
MMA backs off. And in...
look at this.
Yeah, Reaper goes inside the main base here, gets a quick scout, but the second attack, a second Marauder and another 6 or so Marines. This time, no Photon Overcharge. This time, one Stalker down. Currently, one Stalker, one Sentry, without Photon Overcharge shortly.
You better start. You better start an Immortal and stop chrono boosting
He's got
your
no
probes.
idea this is happening, though. The Observer's going to maybe give him some range. Two Stalkers get warped in. He is about 30 seconds away from Blink. But
if he misses the units with the Observer, it's...
Oh my golly gosh, he doesn't see the unit. Okay, so he sees the units now. Briefly sees the units. 3 Stalkers going to take the high ground for now. Another Stalker gets warped in, but still no Immortal. 1 Sentry, Photon Overcharge, 5 seconds away. And MMA's walking forward here. The probes are stuck around the back. One probe goes down. Where is he going to go? He does have a force field for the ramp. Waits. Turns around. Photon Overcharge on the natural is going to be activated here. 2 pylons are down here for MMA. And he's going to go around here. Blink is available, and he does jump inside the main base, and all the probes get away there.
Good reaction there by MaNa. Saving his force field for a very long time. Only losing 2 probes, and I believe 1 or 2 pylons and 1 or 2 probes. Even saving the Stalker. So very well done by him. He does have the Robo Bay behind this, so Colossus production will start once he's out of the supply block, obviously.
MaNa's going to try and get a little bit of damage done with his Blink Stalkers here. Hopefully could get something.
And the starport is pretty much delayed because of this. Will be finished around minute 10, so the Medivacs will be there like 1 minute later than it usually will be. And MaNa has to get pylons.
Look at this right-hand side here. MaNa's building an aggressive pylon, but spotted immediately here by MMA, who's also dealing with these stalkers still at the north side. And good micro here from MaNa, dealing out quite a bit of damage here, actually a lot of damage.
Yeah, he will get every single unit. How many stalkers will he lose? Wow, good control there. Still, wow, just a single stalker, I think.
For all those units here, well done there by MaNa. He warps in 3 more stalkers. His pylon on the right-hand side was spotted and stopped. And still only on 3 gateways. What is his plan here? I guess...
I wasn't really... I'm not really sure if he wanted to be aggressive. Obviously, the pylon positioning was showing that he wanted to be aggressive, but he doesn't have the gate count yet, so...
I was waiting to see if he's going to throw any more down, but... Well, looks of it not. MMA snuck around this right-hand side with 5-6 Marines.
Yeah, and they can do a lot of damage if they get into the middle line and there's no photon overcharge.
Well,
but
there's a Colossus and a Sentry, so he should be okay here. Meanwhile, MMA is just powering up. 2nd Engineering Bay Armory. His 4th and 5th barracks were added just now, and 3rd Command Center on the way. MMA has a look, kills a probe, and backs off, seeing the Colossus here, and likewise MaNa backs off from the other side of the map.
Yeah, he's so scared. He even jumped back with the Blink Stalkers.
No way!
Yeah, he's like, you with Medivacs already? But no, MaNa. You can stay calm a little bit longer because the Medivacs just flying over to your base right now, so you have a little bit more time to get your Stalkers into position, but he's actually blinking to the left side, trying to chase down the Marines while the Medivacs are on the way.
Well, he's going to catch these Marines, and should not lose a single Stalker here. And chase them down. 2 Medivacs inside the main base, though the more important part. They drop on the Twilight Council, and that is going to be gone. And what else, though? What's gone after that? That's a given. 1 probe. The other probes all pulled back. Colossus coming in here. 1 sentry down immediately. They pick up from MMA, and he does get out there. So a couple of probe kills and a sentry.
Can he intercept the Medivacs on the right side? The Stalkers are for a hunt right now. They're looking for it. Medivacs are still there, so maybe we will see an interception. But
they're on that high ground there. Mothership Core's not far away. Colossus coming to assist. MaNa has not decided to check up there, so he will miss it. But MMA is going to march through the middle of the map now. He's got 1 +1 attack only. 2-1 on the way.
Yeah, 2-1 on the way.
2nd starport as well.
And the 2nd starport with a reactor already attached. So if he doesn't take too much damage right now and he gets a little bit more time, I think he will be in a very, very good position. MaNa completely skipped his forges once more.
He's skipped the forges, yep. And he's also in the middle of the map with... Is he attacking here? Is he defending here? Where are you going, MaNa?
I'm not 100% sure.
What are you doing?
It's very dangerous as well. Yeah. Like moving out like this. What happens if 3
He's only on
Medivacs...
50 probes, though.
Yeah, I think he wants to attack.
But now double forge comes in. I mean, is he going to try and break this 3rd a little bit and then fall back?
It's only 2 Vikings, so he definitely has a window to attack, and I think he feels it. So
yeah,
he's
80
going
supply for MMA, 89 here for MaNa. Can he equalize his series up? MMA spreading or moving to this right-hand side more so. Spreading it is as he takes a position to fight. Time warp comes in. Blink to the right-hand side, targeting on the Vikings. SCV's coming to the left-hand side here, but he's so close. The Colossus are right in front of the bio here. One's gonna go down, and then this is a great spread of units here for MMA, and he's marching forward towards that Colossus again. There's a lot of Marauders here, and MaNa throws his army to the gutter.
Oh no, he was on move command. At least the Colossus have been on move command for a second. And he only had a single sentry. It's so hard to push with only a single sentry because you're lacking the force fields. Even though there are not many Vikings, the Terran will spread up so nicely as MMA did. And just like try to avoid the splash damage of the Colossus and then stim in from every side.
I think MaNa can hold his natural here, but I'm not sure he can hold his 3rd. And if he loses that, he's going to be in terrible position in this game. He needs to kind of do both, hold his natural and his 3rd.
And his main.
And his main.
The Stalkers are placed in the main right now. He's afraid of a Doom drop once more. Which is a very, very strong tactic on Marigo.
MMA scans, sees no Stalkers with this army. I think he's going to take a fight here. Stalkers are coming back to defend. They're a little bit slow here. They do have Blink still available. 1 Colossus being targeted down, the 2nd one as well. And Stalkers do come in to save the day. And both Colossus know one of them will fall here. And the 2nd one shortly as well. But MMA gets up to the high ground, spreads his units thin here to minimize the splash damage from the Colossus. Even charges forward there. All of these units are going down. It's 2-1 upgrades for MMA, 0-0 for MaNa. GG, MMA 2-0. And he's through to the winner's match where he will face Golden for a 1st place position in today's group.
He made it look easy, I have to say. MaNa, with some small mistakes in both games. And MMA completely punishing him for that. the 3 sentries, 2 Colossus into the big drop, not paying attention that there might be the drop on the way. And then on Merry-Go, he lost 1 sentry when MMA was doing the first small drop, like the Twilight Council and the sentry were the casualties. And then he decided to push out with only a single sentry. And the short move command on his Colossus actually, I think, cost him the whole fight.
Yeah.
Or at least there was no way to win it anymore.
Yeah, that's a sad way to kind of lose, really, just by your own mistakes more so than not. But it is MMA who goes through in first place and continues his good form from the back, of course, that DreamHack Moscow or DramHack Moscow tournament victory that he picked up a week or so ago. And here he continues his good form. Will he go through in first place? Will he go to the deciders match? We'll have to find out a little bit later on. But before that, let's hear some words from MMA.
MMA, congratulations, a very straightforward 2-0 win. Coming into WCS this week, having won at DreamHack, what has it done for your confidence? I'd imagine that right now you're playing well and feeling great.
드림을 우승하고 이제 WCS로 왔는데 그걸로 인해 좀 자신감이 좀 커졌는지.
뭐 자신감은 전이랑 똑같이 그냥 항상 대회라고 생각하면은 누구나 동등한 입장에서 한다고 생각을 해요. 왜냐하면 연습 나오니까. 그래서 약간의 운도 좀 맡겼고 드림액도 그랬던 것 같아요.
Well, I didn't get any additional confidence because of DreamHack because I think every pro gamer trains really hard before an important match. So I think it's about the luck you have on that day and yeah, how much you practice.
Okay. In terms of BlizzCon right now, I know that BlizzCon means an awful lot to you and that you really want to go, but explain it in your own words. What does it mean to you to play at BlizzCon?
이제 블리즈컨을 위해 이제 포인트도 모으고 잘 하고 있는데 블리즈컨에서 게임을 하는 게 이제 형한테 얼마나 중요한지 한번 설명해 주세요.
지금 블리즈컨은 제 이번에 마지막 거의 게이머 인생의 전부인 것 같고요. 그리고 네, 아직까지는 그래도 승자전인데 진출은 못했잖아요. 그래서 좀 좋아하기는 좀 이를 것 같아요. 마지막에 진출해야 좀 마음 편히 얘기할 수 있을 것 같아요.
I think my career is like pretty much at the end, and so BlizzCon will be like the most important and biggest tournament in my career. So it's a really important tournament for me, but I don't want to say too much yet because I didn't qualify yet. So after I win all the matches, I think I'm ready to tell you.
Okay, all right. In terms of the matchup against MaNa, talk to us about your builds, your philosophy. What did you expect going into the match?
마나 선수 상대로 하는 걸 알게 됐을 때 무슨 준비와 뭐 무슨 마음가짐으로 경기를 임했는지.
일단 치즈러시를 굉장히 잘 막는 선수로 제가 파악을 하고 있어가지고 치즈러시는 좀 연습을 안 했고요. 좀 후반적으로 가면서 좀 유령 바이킹식으로 가려고 했는데 상대가 업그레이드가 너무 늦어가지고 그냥 중간에 끝난 것 같아요.
So when I analyzed MaNa, I knew that he is a very good player and very good at defending cheese or all-in plays. So I actually prepared a very late game style, like going for Vikings, Ghosts, and all the big composition Terran. But actually, when I played the game, he was pretty late with his upgrades, so it didn't come to that.
Okay, thank you very much, MMA. Well done. Congratulations, you're through to the upper bracket final, and we'll see you play Golden. It's a player that you've played many times in practice. So how do you approach a match against Golden now?
골든 선수랑 이제 위너 매치를 하게 됐는데 많이 같이 연습도 하고 친한 선수인데 그럴 때 이제 좀 어떤 마음가짐으로 하는지 친한 선수랑 할 때.
명환이가 슬레이어스 때부터 정말 오랫동안 알고 지내던 동생인데 뭐 동생이고 나발이고 그냥 제가 두드려 패고 올라가겠습니다.
Well, I'm really good friends with Golden, and I played with him since Slayers. But yeah, and he's a really good like little brother to me. But for now, little brother or what? It doesn't matter. I'm going to beat him up.
Okay. Well, good luck in your game against Golden. It's a game of friends, but I guess a game of enemies just for the match that they play in. We're going to take a quick break now, but when we come back, we'll have the bottom half of the bracket where two men are fighting for their lives to stay in the tournament. It's Welmu versus MaNa after the break.